gonna do a drawing that has to do with movement. So sometimes when we draw pictures, we can make drawings either have movement in them or they can be really still. Okay, so when we talk about movement in a picture, so I've got a bee landing on a flower. And so, you know, when bees fly up to a flower, right, they're flying and there's a lot of movement. And so what I did is I used these lines to kind of show that there's some action. And also I have them down here, kind of like he's flying up to the flower. And all these little blue curly lines are kind of like if there was wind flying behind the bee. So I could have made this picture without all the lines. It would have just been a bee on a flower. But instead, I chose to add some movement lines so it looks like the bee is landing on this flower. So we're going to do this step by step. We'll always do all the big shapes first, like the flower and the bee. And then we'll worry about all these teeny tiny details after, okay? So you can use markers, pencil, crayons, oil pastel, whatever type of material you have. And then we are going to start with the flower because it's the biggest shape. I'm just going to use markers. They have been my favorite lately. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the center of the flower, but I'm going to put it kind of to the side because we need to have room for the bee, right? Bee's got to fit somewhere. So I'm going to do my kind of oval on this side. We're just going to put the oval for the center of the flower. And then I'm going to give my flower a really long stem. I'm going to make it kind of thick because this is a really big flower. So I'm going to give it kind of a thick stem. And we're going to need to color all this in. It's sometimes really good to get the line drawing in first. So we've got the center. I want to draw the petals, and the petals take a lot of space. So I'm going to start with a big petal over here. And sometimes they go off the page, and that's okay because that's kind of part of the drawing. So I'm going to add another one. Got two. And then we'll have a third one. And then I'm going to kind of leave this open a little bit and maybe try to do one up here. And then one more. And look, it kind of goes off the page. That's okay. So you're probably wondering, why is the empty space for? Empty space is for the bee. Got to fit the bee somewhere. Right? So bees come in, flying up, kind of landing right here. So we got to leave an open spot. Okay, so we've got the stem, the center, the petals. It's time for the bee. So I drew my bee's body first. And the bee's body is kind of a big oval. Or like an egg. Add the head. And the head, again, is just a little circle. I'm sure a real bee looks a little different, but this is like a cartoon bee, right? So it doesn't have to look like a real bee. And we're going to give our cartoon bee, we got to give it some wings because they fly. So there's one. And then we're going to give them a second one, kind of in front of the body. So this is his body. We're making this one look like it's in front of. And this one is behind. Okay, so see, I haven't done any details, no eyes, no antenna, just basic shapes. So the first thing I might do if I was going to start adding some of my lines, I think I would add the stripes to my bee because that is always, you know, the ones we know for bees. So I've got, this will be black, yellow, and then this one I can draw another line. This will be black, and then maybe this part will be yellow. So my bee's got the stripes. And I also want to give my bee some feet because they have to land on something. So I just do little kind of like cartoon feet. And I'm going to do 4 of these. So I've got 1, 2, and then I'm going to give them some back here. So we'll go 3. They almost look like music notes. There's 3 and 4. It's got this cute little bee feet. These bee feet. Okay. So let's see. I know we've got some more movement lines we need to do in here. My bee's flying up like this. So look at, so I've got my movement line where my bee's coming all the way around to come land on the flower. So how I do that is I just decided to make kind of a dashed line. And then I just follow it all the way up to the bee. So it looks like my bee's going, shoo, ready to land. You could also, if you want, make it a little thicker so you can see the line. You know, sometimes when we draw, we want our lines to be thick and thin. They don't all have to be the same. They can be thick or thin. So there's my bee lines. Now, the other thing I said, if my bee's flying, we need to have some lines to make it look like the wings are moving. So I'll show you. So here I added some lines to make it look like, you know, wings were kind of moving or flying. So I just did 1 and then another 1. And then I'm going to do 1 more here, then another one right here. And again, if you want to make these lines a little thicker, you can. Make my lines a little thicker so I can see them better. And then now, because we are kind of getting into the details, I think I need to give my bee some antenna. Kind of curly little antenna. So there's 1. Give my bee number 2. And I want to give my bee an eye. I'm going to do a circle. And another circle for the eye. Okay. Before we go in and start coloring, choose your colors, right? You don't ever have to pick the colors I pick. You can pick your own colors, okay?